Hey guys, how you doing? I'm just curious how everyone's getting on with the social isolation situation with having to stay at home. Um, I can tell you how I'm getting on, and I'm getting on fine. This is not for me. This doesn't feel anything out of the ordinary in the sense of having to be by myself and stay in for longer periods of time. To be honest, I've done this like all my life on and off. What I mean by that is as well, I've had so much social interaction with people and friends growing up throughout all the years I've been living. But I've always had that, I've always had both sides of the spectrum, if that makes sense. I've always been very social and had friends and girlfriends, obviously with teaching, having a business, having a lot of clients, and then family and running events. But I've also always had the other side of my life where I've been used to spending a lot of time on my own. So actually, this might help people, I don't know, maybe it won't. When I was very young, I used to get bored very easily, and I would complain to my mum and dad. And I remember from a very young age, my dad said to me, you need to learn how to be on your own and not need people all the time. You know, not to need friends to make you feel good. You need to learn how to be on your own company. And I never forgot that when I was younger, and from that day he said that. I kind of didn't agree with it when I was younger, because when you're younger it's like you don't want to hear that. You're bored, you want excitement, you want to go out with your friends. But it took me a little bit of a while to really understand that and appreciate that. And now, well, for many years, this is probably one of the positive things about suffering with social anxiety, because you guys probably know, you'll have it, most of you do. To a certain extent, everyone has social anxiety, but some of it more than others. You tend to spend a lot of time away from people anyway. I think it's just more psychological now, because obviously the government have put the rules. The rules are in place. It's made people feel frightened and lost, because their sense of freedom has been taken away. But for me, I'm grateful. I still see it as, well, I'm alive. I've got a house, place. I've got internet. I've got food. I've got family. I've got a business. I've got things to do. I can work out. I can watch videos. You can still go out for a walk. I've been going out every day, getting food and going for a walk. So for me, it's not like. I think the only challenging bit for me is obviously the kind of worry about how many people are dying around the world. And when's the actual virus gonna get sorted out? But having to stay in and socially isolate, it's not a problem, as I said in my other videos. Because of the experiences I've been through in my life, I feel like it's prepared me for what we're going through at the moment, with having to stay in our houses longer. And as I said, for many years, I spent many years with people, but many years alone by myself. And I've lived in many different places. Like, I've lived at my parents', I've lived at my nan's, I've lived on my own, I've lived in hostels, I've lived in nice places, I've lived with a girlfriend, several girlfriends. So it's weird, it's almost like I've had two lives within one lifespan. One very social, with people, living with people, girlfriend or family, and then another life where I've been like a loner, I've been on my own. And I like my own company. I actually need space from people. People drain me, make me feel exhausted. Being around people, having to talk, and even make eye contact is draining. So I'm grateful for that. We've got some time to rest and everything. Obviously, it's not nice the way this has come about, but I'm a grateful person, positives in everything. And like I said, the hospital experience I went through 2 years ago, that was much harder than this. This feels like a piece of cake. And I got through that, and that made me stronger. So I think the things I've been through in my life, because I've been through tough times, have made this time easier. And the way my dad brought me up, I've had loads of good times as well. It's been very good and amazing in certain years. So I suppose at the moment everyone's different. I've spoken to quite a few people that have said they're fine with it, they're dealing with it, they're getting on with their life, they're working on their business. I've seen other people that are not dealing well with this, they're really struggling with it. I've even seen celebrities online that I'm quite surprised, like champion boxers that I look up to, and adults, grown men, you know, like successful people saying they're really struggling, and I'm quite surprised. I'm not judging them in a nasty way, but I'm thinking, I'm surprised that you can't handle a little bit of, you know, social isolation and having to stay at home with all the things you've been through to become a successful person. But it just goes to show everyone's different. Everyone's got weaknesses and strengths. And there's certain areas that challenge me that maybe other people. But I see this as a time, this is a testing time. And through testing times, there's always opportunities to grow. Always. And there's a lot of positive people saying that. And that's just not like, oh, positive thinking. It's true. There's always opportunities to grow, even in really unfortunate times. There's a lot of positive things you can do. But I think the problem today is with the generation, especially the younger generation, they're so dependent and attached to distractions and going out and being on social media and being with friends, that it's such a shock to the system for them now that they've, you know, that the whole world is kind of stopped and everything's silent and they don't know what to do with their mind. Of course, the older generation as well. But like, I'm not showing off or anything. I'm not being like on camera saying, "Oh, look, I'm tough. It's not bothering me," because of course it's bothering me. It's stressful because of what's going on around the world. But I'm in a positive place because the amount of work I did after going through many depressions and getting myself into a good place. So I'm quite self-reliant. I've been keeping busy. That's why I make the videos for you guys. So these are the things that I've done that helped me, and I've been doing these before the coronavirus outbreak happened. And the reason why I was doing this, because if I don't, I'll get depressed and I get anxiety and just feel depressed and low and not feel good about myself. So I've been living like a very regimental life, which I absolutely love, and I wouldn't change it now for the world. And that requires, it's nothing too extraordinary, waking up in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I start getting things done. I start cleaning. I make sure that the foundation gets done. So I clean, I fix the bed, I hoover, I take the rubbish out, and then I get my washing bag and I put all of the dirty clothes in the bag and go and take it to the laundrette, wash my clothes. And then I love doing that. And I've got all my nice clean shirts, like got all my stuff clean. So I love that, makes me feel good. And then I'll go out and get some food, come back, eat, and then I'll do a workout. I've already done a workout today, some press ups, squats, dips, sit ups, shadow boxing, stretching. And then I make some YouTube videos, which I'm doing now, and then I start editing the videos. And I love everything I'm telling you. I love doing, I enjoy it. And then I will listen to some music. I put some music on, sing along to the music, have a laugh. And then I go online and communicate on my Facebook group, message friends, message my mum. So I've been keeping busy whilst being isolated, but I feel like this, I don't know, that's the thing, I'm trying to appreciate everyone's in different places, but I've got to be honest, this is how I feel at the moment. If I could click my fingers and change it, of course I would stop this virus thing. Yeah, I would. I don't have the power to do that. I've said my prayers, so I hope everyone's alright and everyone's family's okay. So that's my encouragement. You need goals. I tell you something, right? When you've got a lot of time on your hands, I'm an expert on this. If you don't like break your day up into sections and plan it, you're going to go nuts. You're going to get depressed. The mind goes mad because you're not going to be able to be present. You're going to be constantly thinking, oh, I'm bored, it's 3 o'clock, I'm bored, it's 5 o'clock. That's why I book the whole day up with things to do. Even this has been scheduled in. And after this, I have other things that I'm going to do. There's going to be some time. I'm going to watch some stuff online, catch up with boxing, look at some of the other YouTubers that I follow, and then work on my editing. And that's the whole day done. So I hope you guys can get something from that, whoever watches this video, if it's the first time you come on the video. And also, it's really, you know, there's always a choice when you're struggling with something. You can choose to keep complaining and attacking it and saying it's difficult, it's hard, when things that can be difficult, obviously, we're not denying that. Or you can have a better attitude and say, yeah, it is hard and it is challenging me, but I'm going to actually enjoy the challenge. I'm going to thrive in the challenge. I'm going to be a stronger person. And just saying that, just that, no one can force you to do that. Just deciding to be strong in a situation where most people are choosing to be weak mentally, emotionally, and panic and give up and talk in a language of defeat. You can talk in a language of confidence and success, and that doesn't cost any money at all. And people often don't want to do that because it's almost like they resent going the extra mile and being positive even when you don't. Sometimes you've got to go against your own emotions. So your emotions might be telling you, I'm bored, I'm depressed, I'm lonely, or I'm angry, I'm fed up. But you have to override that by saying, manually telling yourself, no, I'm going to enjoy something. And you'd be surprised how quick you can change your emotions. Human beings are quite fickle in their thinking and emotions if you haven't trained. So for years, that's the good thing about, I suppose, the industry that I'm in and what I've been kind of doing and you guys have been doing, which has been personal development, which is probably the best name for it. And it's all about mind development. And as I said, I'm a person who has suffered with mental health all my life, but I've struggled at times, of course, which is why I was in hospital 2 years ago, but I've always found a tough part of myself in me. I've always dig deep when I've needed to, and that's what I've done for this time. I use that reserve bit of strength, because if I don't, then I'm just going to be defeated and let this overwhelm me and get depressed when you don't have to be depressed. You can say the time's challenging and you're scared, that's human, but you can choose to have a good attitude and be better for the people around you. So that'd be my message to people, and you can make it fun. And look, at the end of the day, right, I want to be honest, this is irrespective of people that have lost their life and elderly people who are vulnerable. That's different. I'm not including them in this. Most, normal age people, 20, 30, 40, 50, it's not that hard, is it? It's not like you've got to go to work and work hard. I know some of you out there going to work. Most people are not working at the moment because of this. So it's not, you're not having to dig holes in a well or work in a like they did years ago, down in coal mines or factories, or be called up to national service and fight in the war. That'd be scary for anyone. You're not having to do that. There's just been some restrictions on how many people that you can socialise with. Places have been shut down, but you still got food, you still got the basics, and a little bit more than the basics. There are countries, we know it, they don't have internet connection. YouTube is like for kings. They can't just go into the fridge and get a bar of chocolate or go downstairs to Tesco's. They're in poverty. So sometimes you do have to compare yourself to people that have got much less than you, because a lot of people are spoiled in their thinking and their attitude. And this time has actually made me grateful for the time when we didn't have the coronavirus and we were able to walk up and down freely. So there's been a lot of time to think, I'm actually thankful that I've had those experiences. But maybe that's just me. Maybe people were different. But I used to be a negative person, but not anymore, because I just got fed up with it and choosing to be weak, when you can always look on the bright side of life. And if you can't help yourself, then think about helping someone else. And if you help someone else, it will make you feel better. So I do understand, and as I said, compassionate if someone's got real illness, but most of the people out there, you're not really that ill. You're functioning, you've got health, so just tough it out and don't complain about it, because there's people worse off around the world, way worse off than you. And there's every day in central London I see homeless people that are just at rock bottom. But there's always something positive. Even them, if you're homeless, they can turn that around. Many people have. They can turn their life around. They can become millionaires, or they can at least get a job. They can meet a woman. They can get into a program. None of these things are easy. Life isn't easy, but all of it's possible. So that's my attitude towards it. And I feel. I'll be honest. Part of me has a voice in my head. I'm getting off lightly here. I feel like I wish there was some kind of public service that we could all do, but obviously because of the circumstances of not being able to have too much contact with other people, it kind of eradicates that. But I said to my mum, I wish I could go out and go and get shopping for the elderly people, because I've got a lot of time on my hands. But I put these videos out. That's my way of helping people and giving back. But I'm fine. I'm actually happy that I'm not depressed at this moment, because I've had enough depression in my life. So I'm now in a position to encourage other people. So get an action plan. I've said it. Get a piece of paper and break the day up, you know, because the day will go quicker and you'll enjoy it if you fill it with activities. But if you don't fill the day of activities and you just keep complaining and watching the media and constantly talking about the coronavirus, you're just going to put yourself into a depression and a state of fear and terror. You know, it's much better if you go, okay, wake up in the morning, do some workout, go for a walk, or if you're going to stay in, cook some food, do some creative writing, do some reading, go online, make a video blog, write a book, you know, do some singing, do some dancing, do some you know, one thing we're blessed, guys, generation, it's not like we're all isolated and there's no contacts. You can just go on the phone right now, you can just go on YouTube, you can go on Skype, you can go, so it isn't that bad. I think people are exaggerating, irrespective, unless you're an elderly person or someone who has got a severe illness, that's all on their own. But most people in the world at the moment who are struggling, they're not in that position. They've got friends, family, they've got social media, they've got people online. So I just think they need to toughen up a little bit, and they've probably been given too spoiled over the years. So now you're going through a challenge, it's a shock to the system. But sometimes, and my dad taught me this and I didn't like it when I was younger, it didn't make sense, it makes sense now. You can't always have it easy in life. I'm not saying that we need to have viruses coming down to the planet. No, that's not what I was saying. But sometimes you need to lose out on a bit of having money and too much food, because there's people that got nothing. So to appreciate what you have, sometimes it needs to be taken away from you, even temporarily, so you can go, oh my God, I'm gonna actually really value that now. When I get that back, I'll be more grateful. So these are the things I'm thinking and feeling, and I'm just sharing my thoughts and feelings with people. But I encourage people to be strong, be positive, work out. And there's, like I said, there's so many things that you can do. It's just being creative. If you just have the normal way of thinking, it's like almost like a child sulking, God, it's boring at home, there's nothing to do. But is that really true though? If you were to be honest about that, there's a lot of things to do. Why don't you paint your house? If you clean the whole house, that I'm telling you, that will take about 6 hours or the whole day. The bathroom, the toilet. If you cleaned, you scrubbed, you washed, you fixed stuff. So why don't you work on the house? You know, I've been getting loads of stuff done. You could build a whole business, or you can go online and learn a new language. There's so many things that you can do. Really speaking, if you're not an elderly person or you're not suffering with any serious health condition, then there's not really any excuses to not be able to occupy yourself. And maybe this is good. It will show you how dependent you are on people and how you need to change that, because please God, this will all be over and everyone's going to be all right. We'll get back to what we call normal. But in the future, you know, there's always going to be challenges in life, and you have to be tough to handle them. Otherwise, you're not going to handle them when these things come up. And they don't really teach this stuff in schools, but I was taught this very young by my dad. Prepared me for difficult times. You know, sometimes reducing food, reducing the money, to go without things, to really, like fasting, like they do in religions, to have respect and value it. So that's my thoughts. Let me know in the box below. Wow, the sun's coming through now. It's lovely, beautiful. It's got bright on the camera. Let me know how you're doing, everyone. I hope everyone's good. I appreciate all the support I've been getting on YouTube, and I'm really happy that, I mean, not just around the time of the coronavirus, for the duration I've been doing videos, I've been able to help so many people around the world and really help them with their confidence.